Hello everyone, I am Paul with Many Voices and welcome back to Prison Architect. While this won't be the video where I return to the Swansong Slammer, my final prison in the game, I want to talk in this video for those that are not keeping up to date with Prison Architect 2. I want to talk on why this game, Prison Architect 1, is still relevant and why it may be relevant until the end of time. Though not for me, because after Swansong Slammer I am done. Double 11 has been working on Prison Architect 2 for quite a while, and I do believe that they started working on it even before they released the Sunset update for Prison Architect 1. As such, they had several release dates, and the last one was, I believe, sometime in September last year. But a couple months ago, we received some terrible news, and for this, I am going to have to switch over to this. And just to keep the music going, we have some difficult news to share, and this was posted on, well, actually, half a year ago on my birthday. We have some difficult news to share. We will not release Prison Architect on September 3rd, indeed sometime in September, because we need more time to improve both the game's performance and its content. Our continuous internal reviews and beta groups have highlighted areas that we need to focus on more, mainly performance and content, which we need to address before launch to ensure you, the player, get a good experience in the game. We need to raise the quality a bit more to meet the standards we'd like to achieve with the sequel. Well, this is where I'm gonna stop reading because Prison 11, Prison Architect 2, Paradox have been sharing update videos, update streams, and they've even collaborated with some Prison Architect YouTubers, and I'm thinking of Stuff Plus and Charlie Pryor, two of those, both of them I follow on YouTube. And they've actually been given access to the beta and be able to play and tell us a little bit about certain aspects of the game. But what I saw was just absolutely bare bone. There was no laundry, there was no workshop, better yet, there was no work regime slot. And this kind of made me fear something that I was afraid of for the very longest time when it came to Prison Architect 2, is that we were going to see a very barebone game constantly getting updated with DLC, paid DLC, of course, because it's Paradox, and that we would get something akin to the way that the 2-point games are getting done. You had 2-point Hospital that got DLC after DLC after DLC after DLC, and I do believe that the ultimate game, once you had it complete... Hello game, where's the sound? No sound anymore. I do believe that the ultimate game was like well over €100 to buy, and then they went into 2-point University. And though I didn't follow the development of that game entirely, I just saw a couple of videos, and though I did like what I saw, I'm afraid that they would do the same thing, and now I know that they are working on 2-point Museum. Now, with a museum, there's definitely a lot of chances for paid DLC, because they would say, oh, we're gonna do a Egypt-themed area next, so that you have an Egypt-themed exhibit that you have to pay for. And next up, we're gonna do the Jurassic era, and you have to pay for that. And then we're gonna do the Roman era, and you have to pay for that. That is something that I fear when it comes to the 2 Point series. And I fear that, especially seeing how Double 11 handled the DLCs for Prison Architect 1, I fear that we will see the exact same thing for Prison Architect 2, if not worse. But let's continue. We are confident that the sequel to Prison Architect will be great, and we're looking forward to showing you all the new ideas brought up into it. The switch to 3D, multi-floors, and the new behavior system all bring a new dimension to the game and open new game possibilities for the players. However, we want to make sure that the game lives up to the franchise's legacy and is released in a state that satisfies you, both our players and Prison Architect teams at Koku and Paradox Interactive. Indeed, it's no longer Double 11, it's Koku. Sometime in 2024 they handed it over to Koku, and given that August 2nd last year this update was made, we haven't heard a single thing from Double 11, from Prison Architect 2. And that's why this game is still relevant. I know for a fact that Charlie Pryor, that was a die, is currently making his final Prison as well. And that kind of made me say, like, okay, I do have to get back into the swing of things. But luckily, now that I finished Land of the Vikings properly, I can get back into this. And I want to, because I want to finish this so that I can permanently done with this game and move on to other stuff. But once again, the switch to 3D, the multi-floors, these are things that have been heavily requested back in the Prison Architect 1 days. But even though 3D is in the game, sort of, I'll show you in a moment how you get that. The multi-floors, I know for a fact, have been requested for a very, very long time. And why is there no sound? Let me see if I can fix set. Not this. Sorry, that. Options. Audio. Sadly, there's no, like, there's just the mix frequency, the swap stereo, and the master volume. There's nothing in the sound, so sadly we don't have any more music. As you're not supposed to be in the opening cutscene for that long in the title screen. Let me take a quick sip of my drink. Iced tea. While Introversion did ultimately put in 3D as an Easter egg, and it apparently took years and years and years before somebody discovered it by accident. It was very clear from the moment that the release trailer of the Sunset update for Prison Architect 1 was released that Double 11 or Paradox or whoever would work on a Prison Architect 2 and that it would be in 3D. And multi-floors, as said, it was requested from the very start. We would finally have that. But from what I understand, and this is why they did say they need to focus more mainly on performance, is that just like with Prison Architect 1, when you have a prison with a capacity over 3,000, I tried. The game will just chug like a snail, or even slower. And I do hope that ultimately my Swansong Slimer won't have that happen, but I'm hopeful but scared at the same time. Let's continue. At this stage, we can't commit a new release to a new release date, and we need to reassess the scope of work needed to be done before the game is release ready. Over the next few months, which has now been half a year, we will focus on improving the game and building a more robust release timeline. This means we will be limiting our communication with you all until we have a timeline we feel comfortable with. Then my question becomes, Double 11, why not take a page out of intro version? You have something that works, although it is feature bare. It's very bare in terms of features. Why not release that and say, just like in the past with how introversion software did it, here's an alpha, and we're gonna update, and those who buy the alpha until the actual release date will get all the free updates. And we're gonna do a monthly, bi-monthly, every 3 months, doesn't matter, as long as they release something that we the players can test out, that we can give feedback on, that the developers can work on, and ultimately just improve the game the way that introversion did. If there's one thing introversion did good, it is how they handled the development and the release and the updates with Prison Architect 1. And I am sad to see that Prison Architect was handed over or bought by Paradox and thus handed over to Double 11. But, money. And I do believe that Double 11 Introversion wanted to work on something else. And they have never hit the level of Prison Architect ever again. Going back, with this indefinite delay, pre-orders on all platforms will be refunded, and pre-order items will be added back into the base game. Pre-orders refunded. What do you mean this isn't bad? If they are going as far as to refund pre-orders, and I'm glad I didn't do that, I didn't pre-order the game because I feared something bad was gonna happen, and I never expected it would be this bad. Yeah, that definitely says something terrible about the future possibilities when it comes to Prison Architect 2. The decision that aligns with our commitment here at Paradox to reviewing and improving the quality of our released content. We are confident that delaying Prison Architect 2 is the best path forward for the game, allowing us more time to deliver a high quality experience that honors the legacy of Prison Architect. Yes. Absolutely yes. Or as I said, do it the way that introversion software did it. Here you have an incomplete game. We'll be keeping it updated on a monthly, bi-monthly, once every 3 month basis. And help us test it, help us develop it, and let's make this the best game possible. Altogether. This is not the announcement we hoped to make, but it's necessary as we believe this will result in a better game for you. Thank you for your patience, and see you again soon, Prison Architect 2 team. And soon is still half a year, and we still haven't heard anything. Questions and answers. Is there a new release date? No. Is the game cancelled? No. Put your money where your mouth is. I am not considering it cancelled. But I don't have high hopes for this game ever being released. Why is there another delay? Yeah, we just aren't happy with it, and we fear that you won't buy this game. What happens to pre-orders? All of them will be refunded. Blah blah blah. Why is it taking time to fix the game? Well, fixing anything takes time. But if you have a game that is already as complete-ish as Prison Architect 2, and you're still not happy with it because you feel you can't live up to the legacy of Prison Architect 1 with how much it already had at the base when version 1.0 was released, then yeah, makes sense. Is there going to be an early access or beta access to the game? No. Not right now. But honestly, I think an early access would be the best possible outcome. And the best possible way to get things properly done. So yeah. 11 is possibly not still working on Prison Architect. And it could very well be that the game never gets released. And that's why Prison Architect 1 is still relevant to this day. There you go. And that is why this episode 50.33 will not yet see the rebuild prison. But episode 50.66, which is next episode, which will come out on the same day as this one, just a little later, we will be going over all of the changes that I did compared to Swansong Slimer 50, which was it wasn't on January 6th, but March 3rd, or maybe a little later, because I ultimately rebuilt the entire prison, and in order to get the proper screenshots, I had to change a couple things in the mutators for the save file of Swansong 50 in order to rebuild the prison with prisoners. That didn't go too well, and that's why I rebuilt it again. I hate my life. But I've got something really awesome to show you. Anyway, see you in a bit.